Here I have a 2024 Volkswagen Golf GTI, and this thing is a blast to drive. I'm going to show you around the GTI today and share my thoughts. For reference, this is the base S trim. So first, let's talk about exterior. I personally prefer the look of the previous gen GTI, but this one is not bad. It's not in your face and a little more subdued. I love the design of the fog lights. And if you get the SE trim or higher, you get a front light bar right here where the red is. The dual exhaust is nice. And overall, I like the proportions. And then one cool quirk, the Volkswagen logo is what you use to lift up the rear hatch. Next, let's head inside. I love the way the steering wheel looks, and I love the design of the seats. Here I have the cloth, which has this very classic GTI pattern. Love the retro style. You also have some like Alcantara or suede type of material. It's not bad. The seats are pretty grippy, and they hold you in place decently well. Overall, I think it looks really nice in here. I think it actually looks a little bit better than rivals like the Subaru WRX, Civic SI, and even the Elantra N. Love the way these pedals look. You have these cool trick cup holders too. Right now it's just a large storage bin. If I hit this button, this cup holder pops out. And then you can also put a cup here. You have plenty of charging options. You have dual USB-C ports here, a wireless charging pad, and a cigarette style outlet. You have storage here in the armrest, not too much. You can also lock this in place if you want like an armrest in a certain position. You lift it up and it'll stay there. Next is the tech. This car is loaded with a bunch of modern cool features. The center display is small, but it's functional. You can get a larger display on higher trims, but this basic one gets the job done. But I've been mostly using just Apple CarPlay. You have this really nice center gauge cluster screen. It's crisp, super configurable. You have a bunch of different views. And you can show all types of gauges. So here I have different operating temperatures. I could also put a boost gauge here. And on the right side, you can configure this one as well. I just have my total distance driven since I last reset it. You can get your fuel mileage, all types of information. And in the center, you can also get a lap timer here. For a sports car, you have great safety features and driver aids. You have blind spot monitors, rear camera with front rear parking sensors. You get adaptive cruise control and even lane centering. It only works when the cruise control is enabled, but I didn't expect this car to have it, so it's really nice to see. You have heated seats, as well as a heated steering wheel. And it has 3 different levels for the seats and the steering wheel. You can get cooled seats as an option, and you can also get heated rear seats and a rear climate zone on higher trims. For a hot hatchback, you have a punchy engine with great power and good fuel mileage. The only engine option for this car is a turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder, making 241 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque. It might not sound like much, but this is not a big car. You floor it and it pushes you into the seat. Especially in sport mode, it's a blast. You also get decent fuel mileage. The 7-speed dual clutch gets you 25 city, 34 highway, and 28 combined. The 6-speed manual will get you 23 city, 32 highway, and 27 combined. One thing to note is that the 2024 is the last year that you can get a GTI with a manual. Starting 2025, you can only get the dual clutch auto. It's a really good transmission, but it doesn't beat rowing your own gears. In terms of driving feel, this thing will leave you with a smile on your face. The exhaust will actually pop when letting off the gas in second or third, or when you're upshifting or downshifting while driving aggressively. Shifting in the 7-speed dual clutch is crisp. You get a front limited slip differential, and the 380 or Autobahn trims get adjustable dampers. This thing feels like a little go-kart. It darts around and steers quickly. You won't be disappointed. I always held the Golf R in high regard, with it being all-wheel drive and having way more power, but this thing has impressed me. A lot of people also modify these, so you add a downpipe and a tune, and this thing could be really fast. This is a compact hatch, so it's not huge back here, but I'm sitting behind myself, so I have the seat where I would sit in the front. I still got a decent amount of knee room here. Foot space, not bad. You get also 3 pockets. You have a pocket here in the middle, 2 up top, so you could put like a cell phone or something in there. I have the basic model, so I do have climate vents, but on the higher trims, like I said before, you can get your own climate zone for the back, and you can get heated seats for the rear. You have this massive hump. I'm not sure why, since this car is front wheel drive. But it's not bad back here. And then if you pull this down, you get some cup holders, and even a pass-through for the trunk. And then if we go to the trunk, since it's a hatchback, you got a good amount of space here. Very tall, nice and wide. You also have additional storage underneath the floor, and you have an actual spare tire. Nice. And if you need more space, you can just put the seats down or use that pass-through for long items. Next, we got to talk about pricing. So this car here starts at $31,965, and I think it packs a ton of performance at that price. The Subaru WRX costs more, although it has a little more power and all-wheel drive. There is no hatchback option. The Civic SI is a little cheaper, but has way less power and torque, and only the regular Civic or the Type R come in hatchback form. The Elantra N is more expensive. It does have more features and power, but still has questionable reliability since it is a Hyundai, and people are still divided on the looks. Either you love it or hate it. And also, no hatchback option. The GTI is not necessarily superior to its rivals, but it's not worse either. It's pretty comparable, and I think it's the better looking of the bunch. Some notable features is that you have adjustable ambient lighting. So right now I have blue selected, and you have a bunch of presets here. So you have yellow, red, blue, like a teal color, and orange. So you could pick between these, and if you change, it also changes the background of the gauge cluster. So for example, if I hit red, now it's red, yellow, teal. And then if you go here, you can also adjust to whatever color you want, and you can mix and match. So for example, you can have the top be a yellow color, and then the bottom be like a blue, for example, how I have it there. Pretty cool. You also have a bunch of different drive modes. So if I go here to the drive modes, I have Eco, Comfort, Sport, and then if I go to Custom, you have a bunch of different settings here that you can adjust. So you can really tweak the car to suit your style. And then the trims that have the adjustable dampers have 15 levels, so you can really fine-tune the car and the suspension. And I forgot to mention, you have wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay across all trims. You get a 4-year, 50,000 mile basic warranty. And this isn't really a notable feature, just a little quirk, but the actual volume dial, the whole thing rotates, so the power button can be upside down. That's funny. Now onto some issues or cons that I've noticed while I've had the car. So for one, there's like no physical buttons except for maybe the transmission park button and start stop. Everything else is either in the touchscreen or it's like a touchpad. So for example, you have this touchpad here and you have these touchpads on the steering wheel. I'm not really a fan of this, and I feel like these touchpad button things will definitely fail sooner than an actual physical button. I've already had moments where the touchpads didn't acknowledge my input, so I had to push it either a little harder or I had to push it twice. And I don't know if there's something wrong with the screen, but whenever I have to click something like in the top right corner, it doesn't always acknowledge my touch input. Another thing is that your climate controls, you don't have any buttons here. You have to go into the screen. So you can either do that by going here on the bottom left, so that'll bring it up, or down here you have a climate button on this little touchpad. This touchpad basically has like the most common options you would go through. So climate, drive mode, parking sensors, and then I guess your driver assist. And then one thing that's weird about the climate controls, so for example, if I turn it all the way down, you would think this is off. It's not off. Off is actually this power button. So it's a little confusing at first. You think that it's off and you're like, why is it still blowing air? So just something to note. And then if you get the base model, you get these like partially electronic, partially manual seats. It doesn't make any sense. So for example, the backrest is electronic, but then to lift the seat up and down, you use this lever, and to move the seat forward and backwards, you use this other lever. So it's almost like, what's the point? At that point, just leave it fully manual. And then the passenger side is the exact same. You can get fully electronic seats in higher trims. I just think this setup is a little weird. And then this is definitely gonna be an issue with older cars or with these cars as they age.
The lug nuts are like, I think these are like Torx. So it's like, I feel like those will definitely get messed up over time. I don't know why anybody would use Torx as opposed to just a regular lug nut. But yeah, that's what you have to deal with here in the GTI. So there you have it, the 2024 Volkswagen Golf GTI. I really like this car, and it's been a ton of fun. Driving this has actually made me contemplate getting one. I think the Golf R is a better option, but I definitely put this on the list if you're also looking into a Civic SI, WRX, or Elantra N. If you liked the video, leave a thumbs up, subscribe for more, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'll see you in the next one.